Hello everyone and welcome to your prenatal mat Pilates class. My name is Christina and I've got the beautiful Steph with me today to be my little demo body when I feel like taking a little rest. So today's session will be a pretty strongly lower body focused piece. So other than yourselves and your mat, you won't need anything else. If you do have little ankle weights or little hand weights that you would like to bring into your practice, please feel more than free to. But other than that, you'll just need yourself. So whenever you're ready to, we're gonna start in a 4-point kneel for me, please. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and we're just gonna start off with a nice little cat stretch to warm up. So tucking the tailbone under, scooping up through the front of the belly, tucking in the chin, pushing the back of the t-shirt up towards the ceiling. And on your next inhale breath, you're gonna untuck your tail, so stick your little butt out, drop your belly, lift your chest and arch through your spine. We're just gonna spend about 20 seconds doing these back and forth. Feel free, if your body's feeling like it needs a little bit of other movement into a different plane, to take it side to side or back and forth. You can send your hips to your heels if you need to. Honestly, whatever feels good on your body right now. I just want you to find a little bit of motion and a little bit of juice for those bones and joints. We'll go for just 10 more seconds. Maybe using this time just to hone into your breath a little bit, maybe pairing an inhale with one part of the movement and an exhale with another part. I don't mind too much where you breathe in and out, so long as you're doing both and repetitively. All right, let's bring ourselves back into center. So lengthen through the spine so you're relatively flat through your back and really long from top to tail. So you've got this kind of active sense of kind of stretching out of your head and stretching out of the back of your body. And we're gonna come out into a bird dog here. So keeping our hands and feet on the floor, we're gonna go ahead and slide right arm and left leg out long away from us and just keeping them connected to the ground first, and then sliding the hand and knee back in underneath. Take it to the other side, opposite arm to opposite leg, hand and knee come back in underneath together. So you can keep going with this if this is feeling like enough for your body today, or if you'd like to progress, you can start to take your limbs up and away from the floor after you've lifted, and then hand and foot down, slide them back in and under. So the reason that I ask you to keep that slide in the shape, so that kind of lengthen along the floor and then the lift, is so that we can bring the length before the lift and the movement, as in the height is not as important as how much length you find in the shape, yeah? So really looking for that reach away from the body before you take the limbs away from the floor. Yeah, beautiful. It also helps to guide your body as well, to get you that really strong sense of stillness through your torso, which is what the bird dog is all about, right? The movement of the limbs is simply challenging the position through the midline. And we're working really hard to keep that center really still and grounded. We're just gonna go for about 4 more. When I say we, I mean you and me. Tapping out. Good, beautiful. All right, let's go for one last one and you're gonna hold it there. Whatever side you're on, you're gonna keep there lifted. Yeah, that's fine. Wasn't prepared for that side yet. All right, keeping that leg long behind you. And again, if your foot is still on the floor, that's totally fine as well. You're gonna place the top hand back down onto the mat for me then, please. If your foot is away from the ground, I would like you to flex your toes towards your face. If your foot is not off the ground, I'm gonna ask you to lift the leg just as much as you feel comfortable and just hold it there for the duration of this little set for me, please. Then when you need to break, you take a drop down and then lift it back up and hold it for as long as you can again. But if you're with me on this shape, you're gonna just do a teeny tiny pulse of that back heel to the ceiling. I really don't need this to be big. In fact, the smaller it is, the better. The more still you can keep this part of the body against the movement of this part of the body, the better it is, right? So Steph's working super hard through that little crease between her glute and her hamstring to try to deepen that crease as much as possible, but with a decent amount of control, right? She's not bouncing the leg up and down. This is a really distinct action, straight up, and that little drop. Really, just for fun. Yeah, it sure does. For 3. Almost like I planned it that way. For 2 and 1, bring that knee back down to relax. You can feel free to have a little shake and a wriggle. Yeah, good. Yeah, one of those, whatever you gotta do. Whatever this is. Just stay there for the next 20 minutes. All right, let's try the other leg. So opposite leg reaches back long and lift it if we can. So again, you can just hold here for as long as you're able to and then place it back down if that movement of the hip just isn't feeling right for you. Otherwise, toes pulled back like Steph's got, and then we pulse that leg up and up. So essentially it's move your leg as much as you can without moving anything else in your body at all, except your lungs. Please make sure that you're still breathing in and out. Good, beautiful. Are you excited that this is just the warm-up?
I know, wow.
We go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knee can come all the way down. Go feet together, knees wide, and just send your hips back to your heels. Have a little moment there to let the sit bones sort of widen behind you. So while you're in this shape, and again, take your knees as wide as they have to be, only get as low to the floor as feels comfortable for you, but feel the bones in the sort of towards the back of your butt cheeks. Just try to feel them kind of soften and widen out, just so we can let a little bit of that tension go and recover completely. Just for one more breath. And then when you're ready, bring your weight forward again for me, please, so you're back in that 4-point kneel. We're just gonna move through a little pike to bring ourselves to standing, but by all means, if you'd rather not come up this way, feel free to come up however you'd like. So tucking the toes under, piking the hips up to the ceiling if you're okay to do so. You might even like a little pedal of the feet and the hips here. And just finding a little moment to release out through your knees as well. You've been on them for a little while. And then when you've had enough of that, you can start to walk your hands back towards your feet. That's getting harder to do. And then we restuck the spine. We come all the way up tall. Beautifully done. All right, standing with your feet out a little bit wider than your hips. So possibly even wider than a standard squat with distance, but not so much that we're in like full sumo kind of stance, yeah? We're gonna do some squats. So gaze forward for me, please. When you're ready to imagine there's a low, far seat very far away from you, we're gonna drop down or try to drop down into that seat and then stand all the way up tall. Dropping in and then coming down, or up, sorry. Good. All right, so just finding again that little connection where you felt that little bit of heat through the back of the leg as we were doing those leg pulsey thingies down in 4-point kneel. That's where I want you to try to find your drive to come out of your position in. And as you're dropping down into the shape, keeping that little sense of activation, or just at the very least, thinking about that spot in your body and keeping that little bit of heat in there as you come up and down. Good, we're gonna go for about 6 more. Let's go for another 5, for 4. So strong drive through the heels, still quite proud out of the chest as well. So you don't have to be completely upright in like a plie situation. This is definitely more of the mechanics of a squat, but hopefully it feels nice on your hips with this width. We go for 2 more. One last one, we're gonna take it down and hold it. Good. All right. From here, you're gonna come up about 1 centimeter out of your squat. So you're in this like almost quarter, something that's relatively manageable for you to maintain. From there, can I get you to reach your arms out wide to a T? Reach one hand across your belly, take the other arm up and over, find a little side bend. So you feel some length down one side. Come back in through center, take it over to the other side. Gosh, those quads are on fire. Back in through the middle, stand all the way up tall. Let that little moment for release. We go for it again. Drop down into that little quarter position. Arms out to T. Side bend one way. Back through the middle. Side bend the other way. Back through the middle. Come all the way up tall. We've got 3 to go. Go for it again.
Okay.
And down. Arms out. Side bend to one side. In through the middle. Take it to the other side. Back through center, all the way up tall. Good.
Oh my gosh.
I know, 2 to go. Side bend out. Very nice. It's the perks of being the teacher. Good. Come all the way up. Last breath. Take it down. Last little bit. It's almost like I enjoy inflicting this kind of stuff. Maybe that's why I have this job. Back through center and all the way tall. Beautifully done. Have a little shake of the legs, roll of the shoulders, do a little celebratory dance if that's over, and then bring your feet back underneath your hips for me, please. If you're able to move through roll down to bring yourself down, then follow along. Otherwise, get yourself down to the floor however you'd like. So nodding the chin down towards the chest, rolling the body down towards the floor. You might want to pop a bend in the knees straight away like me. Hands are going to come down. Then we're just going to bring ourselves down into our little 4-point kneel once again for me. All right, so this is a little bit tricky with the lefts and the rights, so try your best to stay on the same sides as us. We're gonna go ahead and bring the left forearm onto the ground in a horizontal position. Yeah, perfect. Your right hand's gonna stay on the floor just to support your shape a little there. You're gonna go ahead and extend your right leg all the way out long behind you, so your foot's still kind of on the ground resting, but you're gonna turn your hips open towards the side that you've extended the leg to. Yeah, beautiful. All right. Now, before we start to lift and lower, if this position doesn't feel good for you for any reason, feel free to do another set of the squats that we just practiced a moment ago. Same difference really, but you're using both legs at the same time. So when you're ready, you're gonna go ahead and lift that back leg up away from the ground as high as you can, and then drop it back down towards the floor. Lift it up. Good, lower it down. Nice, keep going just like that. So with this position, I find for me personally, and I am someone who's been struggling with a little bit of hip tightness and pelvic or pubic bone pain and a little bit of round ligament pain, pretty much all the things that you can have, I feel like I've had. So when I come into this turned out position, I feel like I have so much more space for my hips to feel open. So if you do any other kind of Pilates class or any other modality where you're in a shape similar to this, but maybe both forearms are down on the floor or both hands are on the floor, this is a great one to come into if it does happen to just feel a little bit better for your body. You can always kind of adjust the position of your hips to feel like you've got more room. We're gonna go for about 5 more.
Those of you who are at home with ankle weights on, I don't know how you're going to be doing this.
Oh man. Good. All right, for 3. Yeah, you really don't know how heavy gravity can be until you're doing something like this. And if you already don't think it's heavy, you just give me 30 more seconds. One last one. We're gonna lift the leg and we're gonna hold it lifted. All right. Now again, this one, if you're feeling any kind of tightness or annoyance through the hips, may not be right for you, so you can just keep going with the lift and lower. Otherwise, we're gonna try a little rainbow movement. So Steph's gonna reach her leg out in front of her as far as she can, tap it down to the ground where she can take it, lift it back up and around, and then drop it to the floor where she was tapping it before. Up, forward, drop, up, back, and drop. Beautiful. Good. Yeah, we went from gravity feeling like 20 kilos to maybe 50. Yep. Maybe 60. Good. Who needs a barbell, hey?
Why are my legs so heavy?
10 more seconds. Oh, for another 5. That was a fast 10 seconds, actually. I said 10 and then 5 straight away. For 3. She's working so hard that I'm sweating for it. For another 2. One last one. Lift the leg in center and hold it there. Good. Pulse your leg up.
Of course there's pulses.
Of course there is. It's Pilates. Why wouldn't there be? For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Thank God it's over. Bring the knee back down. Good job.
Oh my gosh.
Have a little shake. That little wriggle of your hips and your bum is the best one to do after this, because you're not exactly losing that tension, but we are just shaking out the pain juice a little bit.
And my glute of the leg stabilizing is
On fire too.
already on fire. So looking forward to doing that side.
Second side. Should we try to make it a little bit quicker? Okay. All right, in saying that, let's just do the other side, get it done. So opposite forearm comes down to the ground. Yeah, so do a little spin that bit's in your way. Okay, yeah, right forearm, thank you. Extending then the left leg out. When you're ready, just that lift and lower after you've turned out your hips. Yeah. So I kind of think of it as like a yawning of my top hip open.
My glute is already sore.
I really wish there was something I could do to help you. At any time, you want to tap out and let me do it, that is fine by me.
No, we're in it together.
Yeah, definitely in it with you.
Everyone at home, don't give up.
Good, beautiful. In saying that though, there is a pause button on your screen for a reason. If you need to, you pause it, you rest, and you start again when you can. This is a lot for those juicy butt cheeks. We can go for about 4 more. Beautiful. So sometimes I'll say to you, if you've done a lot of my classes, and I tend to do quite a bit of this regardless of prenatal or not even anything natal, I'll always talk about the length as well as the height. So same deal here. I want you to think about reaching out of your toes just as much as you're thinking about going up towards the ceiling. So this is all about length and about strength at the same time. One last one. We lift it up, we hold it up. Let's try for those little rainbow moves again. Reach forward, tap, lift and return. Good. And same again with your range, you just gauge it to where it's feeling right for you. So you might get just as much lift as this, you might get half, you might get a quarter. It doesn't matter how high you're lifting, so long as you're doing your best for your body today, whatever that looks like on you. We go for another 3. Good. For 2. I know it's tempting to count back and forth as 1 rep each time. One last one. Bring it back, lift and hold it lifted. We go for that pulse up and up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, nearly there, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it all the way down. Okay. Wow, very nicely done. And that is enough of that, Steph. Good job.
It's not over, is it?
It's almost over. No, it is, I promise. All right, do that little wriggle for me one more time. Just kind of shake out any tension through the hips. All right. So I know Steph's feeling her butt cheeks. Fingers crossed you are too. So when you're ready to, you're gonna bring yourself all the way up to a high kneeling position. Now, this one is a little bit like mildly aggressive on the hips, so just ease into the range when you get here. Yes, tuck your toes under for me, please. All right, so where we felt all that heat in our glutes, we wanna find that heat and we wanna kind of contract into it. So I want you to squeeze your butt cheeks harder than you think you should ever have to squeeze your butt cheeks at any given time. And this is the only time I'll ever ask you to clench, so really take it while we've got it. Reach your arms long and forward. So you're lifted out long out of your crown, your bum's working hard to squeeze together. We're gonna come into a little thigh stretch. So keeping the line of your body long, you lean back from your knees just a few centimeters to start with. It definitely doesn't feel like a stretch. It definitely feels like hot, hot fire through your thighs, right? But that's how you know you're doing it right. Good. So the movement, the hinging action comes from the knees. Hips are staying open because I'm squeezing my glutes as hard as I can to support my weight as I lean back. We are actually getting, even though it just feels like heat through the front of the legs, you're getting a beautiful, strong and active stretch for your flexors, which if you've done some prenatal stuff with us before, you'll know that we tend to get a little bit tighter through that part of our bodies through our pregnancies, just the way that our anatomy tends to kind of move as bub gets bigger. So this is a great one for you to build some strength through your hips, glutes, thighs, all of the lower half. Good. You're gonna take about 15 seconds more worth of these. If you're having quite a good time with these ones and they're feeling really great, you feel like you get more range, you feel free to untuck your toes. Your calves won't be as high to your hamstrings and therefore you'll have less support but more range to take yourself back. So feel free to up the ante if you would like to. We're gonna go for another 3. When I say we this time, I mean we. I'll do it with you. Beautiful. Last 2, still thinking of that length out of the crown. Gorgeous. Let's take one last one for a hold. So just to a point you think you can maintain, staying there for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way tall. Arms can come down for a breath. Good. It wouldn't be one of my classes if we just did one hold, would it? Arms reach forward. We go again. Bums on, squeeze back, hold it there for 6, 5, 4, still thinking of that length, 3, 2, 1, come all the way up. Breathe nice and calmly. One last hold. Arms forward, bums on, lean back, hold your lean for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Beautiful job. Nice. Hands back down onto the ground for me then. Tucking the toes under one more time or keeping them tucked. Take the feet out wider if you need to. We're gonna go for that pike again if we can and just holding it there for a moment. If this doesn't feel the most comfortable for you right now, feel free to just bring yourself to standing or potentially lean yourself up against a wall and just take a kind of pedal out through the heels for me there. So just any way that you can get a little more length back through the legs, through the knees, especially because you've been on them for quite a while in those little thigh stretches. Good, just a couple more seconds, couple more pedals. Beautiful. All right. Whenever you're ready to then, you're gonna start to walk the hands back if you're not already standing, and then bring yourself all the way up. Nice and tall, giving your shoulders a little roll off there at the top. All right, we are almost done. So we've got a little bit of butt, we had a little bit of thighs. Try to get a little bit more hamstring happening before we finish it off. So taking your feet out nice and wide, wider than your mat, or if you need more grip, then turn side on if you have to. Arms out all the way wide to a T to start with. And we're gonna come into a little bit of a wide split good morning. So you may wanna pop a bend in your knees already, but when you're ready to, hinging from the hips, sending your hips back, keeping the length of your spine long, and then coming all the way back up, nice and tall. Go for it again. Leaning in, hinging forward, coming all the way back up. So your range will really vary just depending on the length of your hamstrings, depending on the movement at your hips. So just kind of meeting yourself where you're at with it, but doing your best to keep that long line from top to tail. Good, beautiful, really nice. We're gonna go for just 3 more like this. Really good. Yeah, beautiful. Last 2. One last one. We're gonna take it down into the hinge and we're gonna hold it there. Now, we've done something similar like this together, but we're gonna try to make it a little more seamless today. So thinking of that squat that you did at the very start of your session, we're gonna try to move straight from this position into our squat position. So your arms will reach forward, your knees will bend, your hips will drop, your chest will lift, and then you're gonna try to move straight back into the hinge. So lean, arms wide. Hinge back, chest up, arms forward. Go again. Hinge and reach. Bend the knees and lift. We go for another 6. For 5. Good team, nearly there. Keep it nice and controlled, nice and smooth. What are we up to? I think 3. It's the hardest part for me, just the counting. Last 2. Just kidding, it's definitely the squats. One last one. Drop into the squat, hold it there. What was it you said about pulses before? Why wouldn't there be one? We go for it. Drop the hips down and down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Stand all the way up tall out of your legs. Take a little moment to recover. We're gonna do that pulse set twice more, and then I promise we are done. Okay. Let's go for it. Take it down, hold it. Pulse for 8, 7. And again, I want this to be a controlled pulse, not a bounce, but a very distinct lower and lift of your hips. For 3, 2, and stand. Come all the way up. Oh, gosh. It's like a little bit of cardio. One last rep. Take it down, hold it down. Last set, down and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Try your best to stay with me. Pulse on the down pulse and hold it there for 10. Try to breathe calmly. Hands into prayer if this is a little meditation situation. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
That was a lovely surprise. Thank you
Thank
for
the Lord. Anytime, Steph. I'm here for you. Shake out your little legs. Beautiful job there. All right. Stand with your feet underneath your hips or at a position at which they feel comfortable. Take a couple of grounding breaths. So if, like me, you're at the point in your pregnancy where everything is cardio, take a couple of these breaths to just allow your heart rate to soften, your nervous system to come somewhere close to normal. And then on the next exhale out, you're gonna nod your chin down towards your chest and let your whole body start to fold into roll down. As I do these, I like to think about drawing bub up into my body, as I just find it gives me a little bit more support in the shape, and you just get down as low as you feel comfortable. May not be the same as before you were pregnant, so meet yourself there wherever it is. And just as you hang here, again, I want you to think about those sit bones at the back of your body. Feel like they're widening and softening behind you, letting everything melt towards the floor. Taking another deep inhale breath. As you exhale, we restack the spine. Come up. As the head lifts up last, take the arms out wide and up to the ceiling. Big inhale, lean back and open up through the ribs, through the chest. You went through a lot of strong movements through your spine, positions through your spine, so feel that beautiful extension on your body. Start to circle the arms down by your side. We're gonna go for one more like that. So we nod the chin, we round down and fold, letting everything hang towards the floor. Now, if you haven't done any of our education pieces yet on your pelvic floor and all of those deep intrinsic muscles, your pelvic floor is an anticipatory muscle. So generally for most of us, when we're doing fitness, squats and lunges and all that sort of stuff, it will come on in anticipation of movement. So it's really important that after we finish a session to try to soften and let those muscles release just as much as we work into strengthening them. And so that's why I'm asking you to feel that width and that openness behind your body. One last breath here. As you exhale, re-stack up one more time. As the head lifts, arms out wide, up to the ceiling. Lean back, open up through the ribs, the chest, extend as much as it feels good. Circle the arms down, roll off the shoulders. And that's it. You legends are all done. Thank you so much for your hard work. Absolutely smashed it, Steph. You're a bloody gun.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for joining me on the mat. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you here again soon.
Bye.